fellow retro gamers, Nintenjoel here yet again with a very interesting slash special episode to me. Now, when I started this channel, I definitely had quite a few ideas in mind for what I was going to do with my retro video gaming channel, but one of the big ones was making this video. Now, this is a comparison of two of my favorite games in history, and obviously if you've read the title, you know that that is Shadowrun for the Sega Genesis and Shadowrun for the Super Nintendo. Now, yes, there are YouTubers out there that do compare Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo games, and one of them is one of my favorite channels, and that is Console Wars. Though I have not seen, so far, a really good comparison between these two games. Two of my absolute favorites. Now, these are RPGs. They're set in the future, and I want to say that they are kind of steampunkish. They are very interesting games, and when I first played the Super Nintendo one, I was literally blown away. I had never played a game like it, and I don't think I ever will. And then I played the Sega Genesis version after that, and was equally blown away, and I don't think I'll ever play a game like that again. There hasn't been anything like this until Shadowrun Returns, which I will talk about briefly later on. Okay, so the differences between these games are great and many. First of all, the Super Nintendo game is when you start the game, you wake up as the main character and somebody has tried to kill you. You wake up on a slab in the morgue. You're trying to figure out what's going on, who's after you, and why. Shadowrun on Genesis is not the same story. Shadowrun on Genesis, you are trying to figure out who killed your brother, and all the intricacies that lie within that story. Okay, similarities do exist, and one of the similarities is that this does, in fact, take place in futuristic Seattle, where there are big multi-billion-dollar corporations and giant buildings, and there are basically these people called Shadowrunners. And the Shadowrunners are basically people for hire that help hack into computer systems for people, or help do dirty jobs for people, or help deliver goods for people. Very different from most RPGs. Most RPGs are fantasy elements. This one's more futuristic and definitely a more dirty, grittier game with a much more adult-themed story. So basically, as the main protagonist in both of these games, no matter what the story is, you are by yourself in the beginning, and you can hire Shadowrunners. Now, you don't have to hire Shadowrunners, but you can. And basically, you hire all sorts of folk. There are mutations that have happened in the future, and some people have been morphed into elves, and some people have been morphed into orcs. And there are now shamans who can cast magic and use spells. And basically the whole world is just really weird. There's cops everywhere, and it's just a very interesting story. So the main differences in gameplay are going to be that Shadowrun on Super Nintendo, I've got to say, in my opinion, the gameplay is better in the overworld and the majority of the game. Now, there are two aspects of these games. There's the overworld, your main world, and then there's the Matrix. And that is when you're trying to hack computers. You actually have a personified self inside the computer that you see, and you fight computer programs. It is amazing. Genesis is better for that. Genesis delves much, much deeper into the Matrix, which I love. You start stealing for people, you start hacking security systems, you can sell files to people for a ton of money. This was my favorite part of the game, was ripping off people's money from computer systems and security systems and selling them to this one guy in the game, and he'll give you a ton of money for them. And you can build up more and more money and get better hardware so you can hold more files in your head. It is crazy. The Matrix in Shadowrun on Genesis is the winning feature, for sure. Now, on Super Nintendo, it's the opposite. The Matrix is not focused upon very much at all, actually, and the Matrix sequences are pretty easy, very easy compared to the Genesis version. Not much enemy interactions, but the premise is the same. You are a personified self inside a computer system, and you're fighting computer systems and programs. But the Super Nintendo does shine. If it does not shine in the computer matrix department, it shines in the overworld, where it's a 3/4 perspective, overhead perspective, isometric view, I suppose is what it would be called. And it's a very cool looking game. There is literally not another game I can think of that looks like this game on the Super Nintendo. Earthbound would be the closest, and because it's isometric view. But Shadowrun is way grittier, not as cartoony, and there are people shooting at you. Now, what's cool about Shadowrun on Super Nintendo is that you have more of a point-and-click system. You don't actually use your buttons a whole lot. You just move a cursor and select what you need, and it's pretty darn cool. It's kind of like playing a PC game on the Super Nintendo. I absolutely love it. One of my favorite Super Nintendo games of all time. Genesis's Overworld is not like that. It's a lot more standard, just regular overhead view, but it's pretty cool. You do a lot of Shadowrun missions and a lot of just odd jobs for people, and it's just, these two games are so gritty and cool. I cannot recommend them enough. A lot of people have a favorite. I am not one of those people. I love Shadowrun equally. I fucking love these games. Like I said, I have a tattoo. I love Shadowrun so much. They are the perfect mix of RPG, strategy, PC gaming. The way you gain experience, which is karma points, is really cool, where you can distribute your karma points to certain abilities and stats. It's just so freaking cool. I cannot recommend these enough. Please try both of these. I'm not going to be the person that says, try the Genesis version or try the Super Nintendo version. No, you need to play both of these. They're incredible. I've already beat the one for Super Nintendo. The one for Genesis I am going to try beating. I just keep getting caught up in the Matrix and ripping people off for money and selling it. It's so incredibly fun. But I do need to finish the story for that. It seems a lot more involved. The Genesis version is a lot longer. So, with that, I do have one more mention, which I briefly mentioned earlier, and that is Shadowrun Returns. Now, Shadowrun Returns, not a lot of people seem to know about, but there was a Kickstarter made for it. A lot of people wanted a Shadowrun sequel, and they were given that sequel. Supposedly, the people were looking for $800,000 to make this Kickstarter happen, and it went up to like $1.4 million, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong, correct me if I am, but it was something like that. And Shadowrun Returns is an amazing game that looks a lot like the Super Nintendo version, more of an isometric view. But the Matrix is very involved, like the Genesis version. It is literally the best of both worlds, with updated, incredible graphics. And I have not tried this yet, but you can make your own Shadowrun game with this game. This is available on Steam.com, or I can't remember the name of it. It's available on Steam. I can't remember the name of their website right now, but SteamPower.com, something like that, I don't remember. But it is incredible, and it's worth the $20 for sure. If your computer can run Shadowrun Returns, get on Steam right now and get it. It is incredible. That's about all I have for you guys. I don't have any gameplay footage or anything like that. I just mostly wanted to talk about these games. And what do you guys think about these? Has anybody played them? Has anybody beaten them? I mean, do you want another one? What did you think of this? I can't say enough about this game. I know I seem kind of at a loss for words with this video, but I just can't say enough good things about it. And I am absolutely stunned by the lack of people that I know that have played this, or the lack of reviews that I've seen for these games. I'm hoping that more people become aware with this game, and right now, while they're not ridiculously expensive, you're going to pay between $30 and $50 for these carts. But while they're not, $100 carts, go get them, because they are very much worth it. I am quite proud to own these in my collection, and eventually I'm going to upgrade both of these to box copies because I love them that much. So if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos, please just click on the link below, or not the link below, but the button below that says subscribe, and leave a comment. I am dying to know what you guys think of this game, and if you have never played this game, and you happen to play this game, please tell me what you think, because in my opinion, this is like the top of retro 16-bit gaming. These are my favorites. I mean, these are maybe not as good as Final Fantasy like Super Nintendo games, but oh god, so close. So yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, and keep gaming, guys. Thanks a lot.